Hi there, and welcome to Tuesday Talk. We're live here on Facebook and on YouTube. So, tonight we are doing a little update on an old favorite. So, home interiors is something that many of you remember, home interior parties. And a lot of those pieces are still around, and they're not exactly to today's standards of decor. But we're going to update. They had a lot of cool designs, so we're going to update this one. And I'll show it to you here. This is the top. This is really kind of a cool piece. It opens up, and inside there's a little mirror situation. Can't see, so. And then this looks like shutters beside it. So you have a couple different opportunities for decor. You can close it and hang something on the outside, or you can open it, however you want to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to update the inside and the outside, and then we're going to make a piece of decor for on the outside. So we're really doing three things in one. And all we're going to do is dry brush it, and we're going to use my favorite Dixie Belle white color, which is kind of an off-white, and it's Sawmill Gravy. And then we're also going to use a transfer. This is the Flower Child transfer, and I've been getting my money's worth out of this one. We've used it on several projects. I think you've been here with me when we used them. So you saw the suitcase that we did. So we're going to use it again tonight, and we'll still have enough left for another project too. Also, we're going to make a little decor piece for the front, which is Valentine related. We're using this piece of cardboard, believe it or not. You can use anything for a base, and we're using these solo wood flowers and going to cover it with roses. So we're going to be busy, but none of this is going to take very long. So let's get started. So I'm going to put the camera down here. And I think Facebook, I think you can see pretty much the project here. But all I'm going to do, I'm going to use this small brush to start with because of all these little slats in here. But all I'm going to do is just take this brush over each one of these slats. Now, I know I said dry brush. I actually just washed this brush, so technically it's not dry. But dry brushing refers to the amount of paint that's on the brush. Sometimes you're going to have more. There's a piece of fuzz on this. And sometimes you'll have a little less. Like, maybe I do need to turn this down a little bit. So like right here, we have a good bit of paint. And here we have not as much. And that's okay. The dry brush look is very random. And it's so quick how you can change the look of something. I want to get these places on the inside. I know I have a lot of paint there on those ones, but like I said, we'll have other places where we have a good bit of paint. So it'll all end up being very random. I have a larger brush for larger areas, but in these little slats, I just want to use this little brush. So we already have one section done. Gonna keep working. Like I said, home interiors, if you guys remember home interiors, I don't know whether they make home interior stuff anymore or not, but back in the day, that was all the thing. And now I love to find vintage home interior stuff. If it's a picture, they always had really cool frames. And I will usually kind of either paint right over the glass or use transfers and paint the frames. But I love to find them at yard sales and give them an update because they really were good quality. They just times change, fads change. So Everybody's looking for a little bit of a farmhouse or distressed look. So the color of this is kind of a green that, well, it's definitely a green that, you know, not so much, even though green's coming back, this still just kind of, we're leaving the green peek through. So we're moving right along with this. We're almost done with the top part. I don't know whether you guys can see that part. I'll pull it back a little bit. Like I said, you want to keep your brush strokes really random. And just keep moving along with it. That's a little trick sometimes when you just dip your brush. Don't go to the very next one, like go a couple down or something, just to keep it random. Like I'll start here. Which you guys on Facebook probably didn't see that, but. And I'm just kind of coming down these sides of these slats. See how quickly this is moving? And I did notice there's a place on the bottom that needs some repair. It's just a chunk out of the wood. So since this is such a dry brush random type of thing, I can easily repair that tomorrow and just fix the painting on it. If you are coming on, say hi. Right now I can see the screen. I might put it down later and I should be able to see your comments the whole way through. So see, like some places have more than others, and that's okay. But just kind of keep your brush going in the same direction. Don't be afraid of doing this stuff. I just did, I'm working on and finishing up for a client a whole bedroom set, and basically I used 2 colors on it and gave it a real beachy dry brush effect. And it's really pretty. So just don't be afraid to tackle those things. So now I'm going to start on these frame lines. So they're a little bit bigger, so I might want to switch to the bigger brush. So I'm just going to grab this bigger brush. And again, it's called dry brush because you want very little paint on the brush. So I'm just going to get these. See how that looks? You want to see those brush strokes. I'm kind of doing 2 sections at a time here with the tip of my brush. See how fast this is going? We're going to have this whole thing done very shortly, and then we'll move on to the inside. So I hope you guys are staying warm and dry. I don't know about you, but the cold lately has just been going right through me. It's just, I think, super cold. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Good to see you. But yeah, I just find it super cold, and I'm just ready to have spring come along anytime. I'm ready for an early blast of spring weather. Okay, see how we're coming along? So I'm just hitting those knobs on there too. We're even going to do the insides too. But I'm going to slide this down so you can see I'm going to do the bottom of it. So this is just totally updating this. I might not even fill that tomorrow. I might just sand it a little bit. because having this little bit of green peek through, I really like that look. So we don't want complete coverage at all. You come up on this side. Thank you. Okay, and whether you guys can see, but I'm going to do the top part here. I'll hold it up then so you can see. Doing along this side. I'm going to flip it. See how quickly we're getting this thing done? And of course I'm getting paint on my hand, but that's okay. That's how I spend most of my days, with paint on me. This piece was really dirty, so you want to make sure you always give your pieces a good cleaning if you get them at a yard sale, or if you just pull it up out of your own basement or attic. You just want to make sure that you're giving it a good cleaning, because paint won't necessarily adhere to it. If it's not clean. Okay, I'm just going to open these little sections up inside and do the same thing. And the inside of this is a mirror, but it's separated into panes. And it was painted in a color kind of similar to this. And we're just going to dry brush over that as well. So feel free to comment if you've ever done something like this, where you just take a brush and just put some color on it. So for those of you that are watching on Facebook, I would love it if you hop over to the YouTube channel at some point and subscribe. If you hear that noise, that's my dog's collar. He's shaking. But yeah, because we do this Tuesday talk every Tuesday, and then we do a couple edited videos. We have one Thursday night, and we have some furniture painting tutorials on Saturdays. And I do challenges with other YouTubers too, so it's a lot of fun. So I'd love it if you subscribe. The channel name is Le Vintage Decor, just like everything else. See how fast this thing's going? Don't be afraid of it. And this is the kind of thing, it's a good project to start with. If you'd like to do a piece of furniture like this gives you something to practice on. So I'm just going to do the same thing on the inside here. I think you guys can still see. I'll do these little parts with this little brush, and then I'll get the bigger brush to do around the outsides. This will just freshen it up a little bit. They kind of had the right idea with this rustic look. But we're just giving it a new life. We're going to get all of this here. It's also the part that we're going to do on the inside with the transfer. That's going to be fun too. I'm just going to fold that back on itself. And we'll open this side up. I'll pull it back a little so you guys can see, because it's a little close. we have some exciting news for our store coming up real soon. So stay tuned for that. I can't let the cat out of the bag just yet. But make sure you check the page and stay tuned for some news. Being very, what's the word? Vague. I don't mean to be. I'm dying to tell you, but okay, let's see. We have to get this other side. I'll fold this down and fold it over so I can get that. I know you guys might not be able to see that, but I'll try to fold it down so you can as soon as I get this one little section. Yeah, like I said, I keep saying it, but don't be afraid to do this kind of stuff. Because it's not hard at all. Just kind of have to be consistent with it. And you'll get the look you want. And I'm definitely going to fold that down so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Just get it here and so I'm going to pull this back so you can see. There we go. I just wanted you to see here. So you want to avoid like those kind of brush strokes that like look like it's going in the same place every time. Like you're not quite reaching into the corner, but it's hitting that area in the same place every time. You want to vary the strokes so that they're different, if that makes any sense. Okay, I don't want to be too much of a perfectionist with this. Just giving it a little refresh on color. I'm going to get my bigger brush and go around these outside edges. Not going to worry about painting the back of it because obviously the back is going to be against the wall, so why bother? Okay, so we're pretty much done with our painting. And I'm going to set this aside a minute. This is a little big and a little awkward, but we'll get it. So before I put this down, I'm just going to show you that I cut a template of these little squares here, and I'll show you why. Now I'm going to put this thing down on the floor a second. I have a bag down here so that I don't get paint on anything. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to leave this down and I'm going to pull this out so that you can see. So I'm getting this transfer out, what's left of it, because I have used it before. And again, this one is the Flower Child, inspired by Leah Noel Design Company. So I used half of this design before, and tonight I'm going to use the other half. Wait, this is the part I'm going to use. I think I left a piece in here, yeah. So there's two large designs. I'll show you the container so you can see. So on here, they show you what all's in there. There's 4 different sheets, and each of those butt up against the other, and they create a large flower motif. And so I'm going to save that for another project. So here's half of it. And here's the other half. So that, I may have it upside down. Yeah, I think I do. But that's the idea. No, I guess I don't. It's hard to show you here. But I am going to cut out this feather here because we're going to use that. Better put my brush away here because we're done painting already. Okay. I didn't bring my big plastic bag out to put my brushes in, but I'll just put them in here for now. That'll at least keep them wet until I can get them washed. I had my grandkids over Saturday night and we did Craft Palooza and it was fun. They did some Valentine pictures and I just gave them some canvases and some paint and some transfers and some molds and glue. We just had a great time. Okay, so this is the piece I'm keeping. I just want to make sure that I have it right. Yeah, this is what goes together to make this design. Put it out here so you can see it. So that makes a big design. So that would be great for a piece of furniture or something. But for our purposes, I'm going to put it away for now. I'm making a lot of noise, I know, and that's my pet peeve is paper noise. But I'm going to lay this out here because I made this little template. I kind of cut it a little too short, but that's okay. I know what I'm doing. I'm taking this other feather off here too. So the reason I made these templates is because these are going to be in our window panes. Okay, so just having this down here so you can see it. So just going to roughly draw around here and cut this out. Because I want it to be able to fit into our window panes. And I don't want to have to put it over those pieces of wood. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm making them a lot closer together than they would be with that piece of wood in there, but I think it'll be perfectly fine. Just basically separating them. To make it easier. And if this doesn't make sense yet, it'll make sense when we start doing the transfer. So I'm going to cut this little bottom part off. So there's a backing sheet to a transfer. So this straight side, there was another half of a motif, but we're just going to use it on the straight side. So I'm going to cut this out. If I can find my lines. Okay, that's that line. Kind of a bit of a rounded corner in there, but we'll try it in the panes before we start rubbing our transfer in. So there's this little extra piece. We may end up using that just so it looks cohesive and realistic. So there's this one little piece that we're getting rid of. sort of a little rounded corner. Trying to see where I drew. It's kind of difficult, but we will piece this together. All right. So it's time to bring up our piece again. Get all this stuff out of the way. Okay. I'm going to open these drawers again. Get them out of the way. This is practically dry. Okay, so let's get our transfer here. So we know these flat ends are the bottom. Okay, so that one I didn't cut the whole way to the end just because it's clear. Okay, I want to make sure I have the right one. See if I know what I'm doing here. That has to be the bottom. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's the way I did it. Sorry, I'm like confused now. And I want to make sure I get it on here right. Ah, that's that. And that's the way that goes. Can't be. Yeah. Okay, I think I've got it. All right, so when you take the back off, just take that back sheet off, and I'm gonna put it in my little window here. It will adhere to glass super easy. Now, remember with glass, it's unlike furniture. You're not going to be able to seal it with anything. I'm looking for something to rub this on here because I don't have my little stick, but I'm taking a paintbrush handle because, like I said, this will adhere really easily. Can you guys see that? So I'm just burnishing this, just rubbing it. And I'm going to start pulling up on that paper. So you see why, now that you see these canes in here, you see why that I chose to make those little templates. Kind of made my life a little bit easier. I think it would have been a lot more difficult to try to run my transfer over these little crossbars. Okay, so I'm just finishing rubbing that down. Take the next one and do the same thing. Again, I'm just using the handle of a brush. This probably wouldn't work so well if you were using it on a furniture piece. I'm shaking the camera. But it adheres so quickly to glass. I just know that we're not going to have any problems with it coming off. I'm getting my fingernail in here because that brush handle isn't wanting to fit in the corner. Sometimes the paper kind of is getting stuck underneath the these things. Okay, and again, we'll rub that down. And I'll hold this up in a minute so you can see, get a really good look. This is a super quick project tonight, this little thing getting its facelift. Our paint job went really quickly, and now our transfers are going fast. And I think the third part of our project will go pretty quickly too. I don't know whether I have enough flowers for my project, but we'll find out. Again, I'm going to use my nail in there. There we go. I see a few little bubbles in there, so I'm just going to kind of work them out. In our last pane. This is such a pretty transfer. I'm going to be ordering tomorrow some new paint. We're getting 10 new colors in the silk line, which is awesome because if you're familiar with the silk line, they were really nice beachy Hampton colors, very stately colors. Well, now we're going a little wild and we're getting some desert colors, and they're sort of like jewel tone, beautiful, vibrant colors. So I'm super excited about that. There's a pink and a green that I just love. So that's going to be fun. I always love getting new paint colors, and also some new stencils are coming out too. Okay, so we have this bottom part done, and I did cut out a couple feathers. So we're going to put a few feathers up in the upper corner, and that'll just kind of set it off. Here they are. And we'll just make it look kind of just random, like they're floating in the air. I think that'll be cool. Hi, Kathleen. You saw one of the paint colors already? Which one did you see? I'm ordering them tomorrow, and I'm excited. I'm an elite retailer with Dixie Belle. That means we carry everything, and we also get the first opportunity to order. So can't wait. A yellow color. Okay, I forget all the names already. I know there's one that's it has an unusual name, but it's gorgeous pink. Okay, I'm not sure where this one I should go with that. Yeah, I could. I don't want to crisscross them. This one's longer than I thought. I just kind of wanted them to look like they were just kind of wisping down, if that's a word, wisping. I could layer it over this. You know, I'm not sure what to do with this guy. All right, I just committed, so I just laid it down. That's what I'm doing with this one. You know, sometimes we overthink these things. We all do it. I like that. Okay, I'm going to hold this up so you can see it. This thing's not that big. It's just a little awkward. Okay. I think Facebook you can see it very well, but YouTube, I'm going to pull it up a second. Oh boy. Now you can see it a little bit. So, but yeah, so that's what we've got. So we're going to close the doors on this, and I'm going to put it down. So that's 2 ways we can use this piece. Thanks, Kathleen. Okay, I'm going to fix my thing here a second. Sorry, technical difficulties, guys. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to pull up this thing that I was working on. So you don't need fancy stuff. Navajo. Okay. Thank you, because I'll be getting quite familiar with them, but so I had these little doilies. So I wanted a heart shape, and I just found a piece of cardboard, and I used this as my pattern and just cut out a heart. Okay. Now the box was like a, how do I want to say it? Like the surface, there was a crease in it, okay? So in order to stabilize that, I glued another piece on the back. I also glued this piece on, and I put a little piece of leather in there. So that way, when we have the flowers on in the front, then we'll have a hanger for it. So I hope I have enough flowers. These are solo wood flowers, and these ones are undyed, so they're natural white. And I'm going to start gluing these on. And if we don't have enough, I'll start it around the edges. And then if we don't have enough, I'll finish it tomorrow and update you with the finished piece. So I'm throwing these flowers all over the place, throwing them on the floor. I may end up cutting some of the bottoms off of them a little bit. So I see people coming on Facebook. If you come on, say hi. Let us know where you're from. And I'll review the piece that we just did. So this is the last part of the project. Okay, so I don't think that I see enough flowers to cover this whole thing, but I'm using, if I can find it now, I'm using a glue that's, it's Aleene's Rapid Dry. You know, you can use anything. You could use E6000 or whatever you want, but I'm going to use this stuff. And I will tell you, this stuff stinks a little bit, but oh well. Okay, and I'm going to have my scissors handy so I can kind of cut the ends of these off to make them flat enough to glue on here. I'm going to cut a few of them and have them ready. You don't want to cut them up too far because there's a line of stitching that holds them together, and you don't want to cut through that thread and have them fall apart. These are great to dye with Dixie Belle paint. We've done that before. Tonight I'm just kind of going with an all-natural look. We dry brushed our old home interior cabinet, and we put a transfer on the mirror. And now we are making a piece of art to hang on the front of the cabinet. So I'm using a pretty generous amount of glue, and I'm just putting these down They're different heights, so it's going to be interesting. I might have grabbed one that I didn't cut down. Oh well, the other ones will support it. We're just gluing these in here. And I may have to put something on top of it to weigh them down. So this is Valentine inspired. And I think tomorrow we'll just grab the rest of the flowers and maybe finish it with pink. I'm just trying to do around the outside because I know that I don't have enough flowers. Okay, I'm going to cut a few more. Just make these kind of as short as we can without the flower falling apart. That's pretty short already. I must have cut those. Okay. I guess I put it on the flower before, and this time I put it on the cardboard. So like I said, you don't need any special equipment here. This is just a cardboard form. And you could use silk flowers easily for this. I just happen to have the Sola flowers. Like I said, stinky glue. You could really use whatever you wanted. I'm sure even wood glue would work, since these are Sola wood flowers. Gonna make room for another flower here. And then my outside is pretty much complete. And we'll have to finish up tomorrow with some more roses. Just kind of laying these down so that they look good. I don't want to see any of those, any of the edge. So I'm going to keep fooling around with these, but you get the idea. I don't want to see any of this red edge, so I'm going to keep working with these. I have a little time. This is fast drying glue, but it's not so fast that I can't play around with them. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to be good to let that sit a few minutes. But I'm going to review what we've done here for those of you that didn't get to see it. I updated a home interior piece just by dry brushing it. I used Sawmill Gravy from Dixie Belle. My arms aren't long enough. Sawmill Gravy. And just dry brush. I actually used two. The Ugly Duckling competition. Yes, I am doing that. And I saw briefly about Rose City. So, yeah, so anyway, this is the outside. And then on the inside, we used one of the transfers. We used the Flower Child transfer. And updated the inside. So this is really a versatile piece. You could have it closed with nothing on it. You could have it open. You could have these halfway on the sides here if you wanted. Or you can close it and then hang that heart that we're working on So many options. So I hope you uh, enjoyed what we did tonight, and I hope that I inspired you to do some dry brushing of your own, because it is just so super easy to do. And I also hope that you Facebook watchers will hop over to the YouTube channel, The Vintage Decor. And thank you, Kathleen. And just subscribe to the channel so that we can visit on YouTube and do edited videos as well as live. And stay tuned for that exciting news that I'm going to be telling you pretty soon. So I hope you all have a great night and take care. Stay warm. Bye.